Okay, we'll start with the file and the IO streams today. Most real applications of Java are not text-based or console programs. Till this moment, whatever we have did, most of the programs are console-based. We use the command line to execute our program. Java's support for the console IO is limited. Text-based console IO is not very important to Java programming. Java does provide a strong, flexible support for IO as it relates to the file and the network. We already know that Java is the internet programming languages. Most of the Java applications are the web-based or user interface application. This means you should have a very good support for the input-output operation. Come to the files first. The file class provides the method for obtaining the properties of a file or a directory and for renaming and deleting a file directory. So the file class only works on a file or a directory and it deals with the properties or renaming or deleting that file, like how to create a file, how to rename a file, when the file has been last modified, what is the path, means any property that is related to the file or the directory, the file class can be useful. An absolute file name contains a file name with its complete path and a drive letter. So what is an absolute path? Absolute path is a path that has information like file name and a complete like its drive letter, the exact path along with the drive letter and the complete path where it has been stored. A relative file name is in relation to the current working directory. Means if you pass a relative file path, this means you are just giving the file name, and by default whatever the folder you are working, that should be considered as your directory. The complete directory path for the relative file name is omitted. Means whenever using a relative file name, the complete directory path is not required. By default you can write as a welcome.java. The directory would be the current directory you are working. The file class is a wrapper class for the file name and its directory path. This means what? The file class whatever you have behaves as a wrapper class to the file name and its directory path. For example, you can create a file object. Suppose you want to create a directory, you can take the help of the file object to create the directory. For example, new file, and within the parent brackets we are passing C:\book. So a directory called with a book will be created in the C directory. You can also create a particular file with the help of the file object, like C:\book and /test.dat. So a file that is test.dat will be created in the book directory under the C directory. Class does not contain the method for reading and writing the file content. Means anything you want to do with the properties of the file, like renaming, is the file readable, not readable, is it writable or not, when the last file has been last modified, everything is possible, but it does not have any method that will help you to read or write the file content. What is the constructor is the file, and you can pass the path name as a string there. It creates a file object for the specified path name. The path name may be a directory or a file. So with the help of the file object, you can create a directory or a file. Both is allowed. These are the methods that are possible. Boolean is file will return true or false depending it is a file or not. Boolean is directory will return true or false depending it is a directory or not. Is hidden will return true or false that particular file or directory is hidden or not. Exist will return true or false, depending that file exists or not. Can read returns true or false, depending that particular file is readable or not. Okay, can read means a file can be readable or not. It will return true or false depending. Can write method will return true or false whether this file is writable or not. Get name will return the name. Get path will return the relative path. Get absolute path will return the absolute path of that particular file or directory. Last modified will return the time whenever the last file has been modified. Length will return the size. The delete will delete that file, return true or false. If the delete is successful, it will return true, or if delete is not successful, it will return false. Rename, you can pass a file object, so from which particular file object you are calling, it will be renamed to the file object you have passed. List files will return the files that is present in that directory. See, the last modified method returns the date and time when the file was last modified. It measures in milliseconds since the beginning of the Unix time. The date class is used to display it in a readable format. By default, it returns in a Unix time that is not readable. So we use a date class object to make that particular data into the readable format. The way it would be like, we can use the date object java.util.date file.lastModified. So it will return in the readable date and time format. So we'll see with a program how to do this thing. We'll take a very simple program first, like how to create a file. That is the basic thing that we are trying. So within a try catch block, I'm creating a file object file, and I'm passing a string that has a file name. See, the file name here is a Java file 123.txt. Okay, so I'm creating a file object and I pass the string that behave as a, like whatever the file you want to create. Then I will call this create new file. This create new file, create that file if the file is not present there. I repeat again, create new files, create that file if the file is not already present, and it returns the true if the file is successfully created. So within the if, file.create new file will return true and will create the file because you are calling it for the first time, and it says new file is created. Suppose you are running this program for the second time, or that particular file Java file 123.txt is already present, the control will be transferred to the else and it will say file already exists. So let me execute and see what happens in this case. One thing I will note it down, I am passing a relative path here. This means I am just passing the file name, and whatever the current directory where this file demo.java is stored, that should be the working directory. So this file Java file 123.txt will be created in the that particular folder only. See, this is the location of the file demo, and here the file will be created, that is Java file 123.txt. See the file. Once I will execute this code, see this file has been created, Java file 123.txt. It will say new file is created. Suppose I try to execute for the next time, it says the file already exists. So the control is being transferred to the else part because the create new file can't execute because the file is already present there. Now come to the file next program that will try to find all the properties that we have seen. So this file property, it will work on the two different things. The first is I'm taking a string f name from the argument 0. Basically I'm trying to take the file name from the command line argument, that is the file f, that is the object f of the file that will take the input from the command line argument as a file name. F1 is another file object that has a parameter as testabc.txt. Both will create the file there. Then get name will return the name, the get path will return the path, the date will return the last modified date, absolute path will return the path, get parent will return the parent in this case, but the parent does not exist. F exists will return true in this case. Now if the file exists, you can see check whether this file is writable, it is readable, it is a directory or not, what is the length. Then we will try to rename. It is again a very self-explanatory program. Most of the methods we are trying to just execute and see what could be the possible output. So currently it does not have any txt file. Okay. Let me create a file like java file.txt, because I have to pass the command line argument. See, a java file.txt has been created and testabc.txt has been created. And see, this is what the file name is, java file.txt. The path will return the relative path, last modified. See, this is the current time. The time is currently 1:10. Now the absolute path would be like C user Aditya, the complete path where the file has actually been stored. You can see this is my absolute path. C user Aditya. See, this is the same, it is being returned here. Parent is obviously null. It exists true, is writable true, readable true. It is not a directory, so false. The file size is 0. And the rename suggests false. The reason behind, try to find it. Go to the code back. You're trying to rename F to F1. What is F? F is the file that I passed. Means you're trying to convert Java file name to testabc, but the testabc is already present in that directory. That is the reason this renaming is not possible to be done. That why it returns false, because within a directory you can't have two files with the same name. I will go back and I will explain again. F relate to the file name that I passed to the command line argument, that is the Java file. F1 relates to the testabc. In that case, I am converting F to F1. Means I am trying to convert Java file to testabc. Once I try to rename this Java file to testabc, the same folder will have two files with the same name, and that is not possible. So whatever the rename operation you tried is not successfully done and it returns false to you. Okay, so we'll start back. Like from here we are done to the basic files. We'll get back to reading and writing file. In Java, all files are byte oriented, and Java provides method to read and write bytes from and to a file. Means you can read from a file and you can write to a file. Everything is a byte oriented, means the processing is done byte to byte. Java allows us to wrap a byte oriented file stream within a character based object. We can use the scanner and the print writer class to read and write files. means the scanner class can be used to read and the print writer class is used to write the file. The scanner, we are already aware, that can read the input from the console. At the same time, we will try to see such method from where the scanner class can be used to read the input from the files. The print writer is useful to write something on the console also, files also. Come to the print writer class. Although using system.out to write to the console is acceptable, means with the system.out you can write something to the console. The recommended method for writing to the console when using the Java is through a print writer string. Means whatever the recommended method for writing to the console when using Java is through the print writer string. The print writer is one of the character based classes, means the processing is done as a character by character. Using a character based class for the console output make it easier to internationalize your program, means you have a similar standard throughout the globe. The basic syntax would be the print writer can pass the output stream where you want to store or write. It could be a console, it could be a file. And what is the flush on new line? That is a boolean true or false. What is the flush? We will see. See, output stream is an object to the type output stream. Now first you have to understand what is a flush. Now flush is something like, see, whatever the inputs you are passing through your console or you're trying to store inside you're writing to the console or you're writing to the file, every input is taken from the keyboard. Eventually it will be stored in a console, it should be displayed on the console, or it will be displayed it will be stored in a file. What the flush works as like clearing the buffer. Whenever you type on the keyboard, everything is stored in a buffer. It processes in a small amount of the time. So the flush generally, whatever you are typing, it is stored in the buffer. The flush is used to clear the buffer and try to pass it to the respective places. For example, if you are using the print writer to write the output to the console, the flush will be used to clear that buffer and will write that particular information to the console. If I suppose you are trying to write something inside a file, the flush again will use to clear that buffer. Whenever you type something, it generally passes to the buffer, and the buffer again in next pass to that particular file or the console. So flush is used like clearing that buffer. Flush on new line controls whether the Java flush the output stream every time a println method is called. Suppose you are printing something. Before that, the flush new line try to fetch whether or find whether it has been flushed, the previous data has been flushed or not. If flush on new line is true, the flushing automatically takes place. If false, the flushing is not automatic. The print writer supports the print and the println method for all the types, including the object. Thus, we can use this method in the same way as they have been used in the system.out. If an argument is not a simple type, the print writer method calls the object to a string method and then print the result. So if it is not a simple type argument, it will convert to the string and then it will print the result to you. You see the print writer program that will help me to write inside at a console and inside a file, both at a time. We have multiple methods. You can write, see these are most of the self-explanatory methods here. You can write a file, double, int, long. You can pass a character array. You can pass a character. You can pass a string. You can pass the file object. You can even pass the file name as a string. All of the methods are self-explanatory. We'll go to the okay, so we'll go to this file. The first time I will try to write something to the console, and the second time I will try to write something inside that file. So let me try with the console first. So I will create a print writer object writer and I pass the parameter as a system.out. Okay. So what will I do is, like, by default I did not pass that I want to make the flush. So by default automatic flush is here I did not pass that info, like I did not pass the true. This means by default automatic flushing is off. So we have to forcefully flush. So I write writer.write and I just pass that as string and then writer.flush. Once the flush is will call, this particular line will be passed to the console. You can use the println method in the same way using print writer object. Again you can pass integer, you can pass a double, and whenever you call dot close, by default the buffer is being cleared. So let me execute this program and see. I have not completed the complete program, part of the program, but see what happens whenever up to the console only. T-Point provides the tutorial for all the technologies using the print writer object, and then you are printing some data over there. So on the console, go to the program back. See, the println method is allowed, even the print is allowed, and the write method is allowed. This all the write, print, and the println can be used to write something on the console or something onto the into the file. Given I did not pass the true here, automatic flushing is disabled. Suppose you want to write something to the file, but how you can store something inside the file. I have a print writer object writer1, and then I pass the file object. The name is the test.out.txt, and I'm writing something as a write, like Java Spring Hibernate something. It will be stored inside that file name as a test.out.txt. Here the file name is a relative path. So the current working directory is the directory where the test.out.txt will be created. I can also write something as a println statement here. So let me execute this code and see what happens in this case. Okay, I missed the semicolon. See, a test.out.txt has been created. At the same time, it says like Java, Spring, PHP, and see, the write method behave as a print state method only. That's why there is nothing a new line. So once this line has been ended, the welcome has been printed at a same line there. You can see welcome is printed there only. So which means with the print writer class, you can write something onto the console and to the file. Both is allowed. So writing something inside a file is done. At the same time, we can write print with the help of the print writer to the console also. Come to the scanner class. Java.util scanner class is used to read strings and primitive values from the console. Till this moment we are aware of this. With the scanner class we can read the strings or the primitive values from the console. We have next float, we have next int, we have multiple methods that can be used to read the data from the console. A scanner class breaks the input into the tokens and delimited by the white spaces character. To read from the keyboard, we create a scanner class as follows. scanner as equal to new scanner system.in. See, system.in means you are reading from the console. Now suppose you want to read something from a file. You should, instead of passing system.in, you should pass the file object. I'm repeating again. Suppose you want to read something from the keyboard, you're passing system.in. At the same time, if you want to read something from the file, you should pass the file object. The methods will remain same. Either you are reading from the file or you are reading from the console. In the next video, we will see some programs related to the scanner class and print writer class, and also we'll try to see how to copy a data from one file to the another file. Thank you.